Chapter 5 from our book, Please Become Our Disciple, is titled Introduction to the Lifetime Terms of the New Covenant, found on page 19. The full presentation is provided in part 3 of our book, but this is just an introduction for you to be thinking about the new covenant that Jesus Christ provides us, and then that the 5 terms, there's 5 categories of Jesus Christ's words that he taught his 12 apostles that were with him about 3 years. And these terms of the new covenant that he was bringing make up all the words that Jesus said. These have been taken from the 4 Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And so we've put them into the categories of Jesus' promises, Jesus' commands, the character traits of Jesus, the sins that Jesus, the new covenant, has identified, and then the working of the Holy Spirit in our lives as the great blessing of God within us that was provided in the new covenant from God. So this is an introduction to those terms, and then we have them listed in 5 ways. Here they are. Number 1, I stay on God's soul rest path to hear the Holy Spirit. This is the relationship of every day getting started in my fellowship with the Holy Spirit, so I can hear God's guide, the Holy Spirit that's within my heart. I want to be hearing him in my spirit all day long. Point 2 is I add Christ's attitude and character traits to become Christ-like. Jesus was always saying, live like I live. Look how I respond. Look at my character, and become developing these same character traits and this same attitude that I have. And so that's point 2. Point 3 is I obey Jesus Christ's commands. Of course, over and over, Jesus would list what his men were to be doing and how they're to live. And he was giving great teachings of this to many people. So we have the lists of every command we could identify from Jesus. And point 4 is I trust Jesus Christ's promises. Again, with all of the writings that we have of Jesus' actual words and instructions, we've lifted the promises as best we can find them and given you a list of promises to be studying and to learn to believe in them. And the 5th is Jesus clearly showed us how to, when we sin, when we make failure at doing God's will, he's provided forgiveness for us. He's provided ways in which our sin record will be washed clean. And so we want to know what the sins are. So we have here the listing of the sins brought forth in the New Covenant. The New Testament part of the Bible is really meaning the New Covenant that Jesus brought. So we've tried to get every list of sin in the New Testament and list it for us to read. So again, the main lifetime terms then that we as members of Jesus' New Covenant, we want to stay in soul rest path to get in good communication with the Holy Spirit. We want to put Christ's attitude and character traits in ourselves to become like Christ. We want to obey Jesus Christ's commands by studying all of them and seeing if we can obey them. And then the promises of Jesus, we want to learn to believe these promises. And then we want to regularly wash ourselves spiritually of the sin residue and get rid of our guilt and become blameless in our relationship as Jesus taught us to. So, this is the introduction to the lifetime terms of the New Covenant, which will be greatly developed in part 3 of this book. That ends page 19.